Hey everybody, it's been a while, but I want to get back on these Ableton streams, put an hour in, and let's go. So from last time we did this, we were at 4.8 here. So we're going to start there and put an hour in. Let's minimize this. 4.8. Okay, I don't want it to show it like that. Continuous scroll. And let's hide the sidebar. There we go. All right, 4.8, devices and the mixer. A track can have not only clips, but also a chain of devices for processing signals. Let's just make sure we are live on the YouTubes. Just to make sure we're getting some sound. There we go. All right, looks like I'm going. Chain of devices for processing signals. Yep, we're going. So let's keep it up. Double-clicking a track's title bar brings up the device view, which shows the track's device chain. Okay. Let's see if I can find a decent way to show Ableton. Double-clicking a track's title bar brings up the device view, which shows the track's device chain. I guess I don't have any yet. Let's open that demo back up. No. Delete. I think that's what it is. That's what they're talking about down here. All right. Let's see if I can swap. Yeah, I can. All right, that's nice. And swap back and forth there. The devices view displaying a MIDI tracks device chain. Operator, random, LFO, filters, utility. Live's built-in audio effects, MIDI effects, and instruments are available from the browser and can be added to tracks by dragging them from there into the device view or into a session or arrangement track. Okay. Live's built-in devices are available from the browser. You can also use plug-in devices in Live. VSTs and audio units, Mac only, plugins are available from the browser's plugins label. Plug-in devices are available from the browser's plugins label. Excuse me. Consider an audio clip playing in an audio track. The audio signal from the clip reaches the leftmost device in the chain. The device processes, changes the signal, and feeds the result into the next device, and so on. The number of devices per track is theoretically unlimited. In practice, the computer's processor speed imposes a limit on the number of devices you can use at the same time, a topic that deserves separate discussion, page 801. Note that the signal connections between audio devices are always stereo, but the software's inputs and outputs can be configured to be mono in the audio preferences. When the signal is passed through the device chain, it ends up in Live's mixer, page 267. As the session and arrangement share the same set of tracks, they also share the mixer. The mixer can be shown in both views for convenience. To optimize the screen layout, the individual mixer sections can be shown or hidden using the View menu's entries. The Live mixer in the arrangement view left and session view right. The mixer has controls for volume, pan, and sends, which adjusts the contribution each track makes to the input of any return tracks. Return tracks only host effects and not clips via their sends. All tracks can feed a part of their signal into a return track and share its effects. The mixer also includes a crossfader, page 275, which can smooth transitions between clips playing on different tracks. Live's crossfader works like a typical DJ mixer crossfader, except that it allows crossfading not only to, but any number of tracks, including the returns. Live's crossfader. Devices that receive and deliver audio signals are called audio effects. Audio effects are the only type of device that fit in an audio track or a return track. However, two more types of devices are available for use in MIDI tracks: MIDI effects and instruments. Consider a MIDI track playing a clip. The MIDI signal from the clip is fed into the track's device chain. The MIDI signal from the clip is fed into the track's device chain. There, it is first processed by any number of MIDI effects. A MIDI effect receives and delivers MIDI signals. One example is the scale effect, which maps the incoming notes onto a user-defined musical scale. The last MIDI effect in the chain is followed by an instrument. Instruments, for instance, Live's Simpler and Impulse, receive MIDI and deliver audio. Following the instrument, there can be any number of audio effects, as in an audio track. A MIDI effect, an instrument, and an audio effect in a MIDI track. If a MIDI track has no instrument and no audio effects, then the track's output is a plain MIDI signal, which has to be sent somewhere else to be converted into audio. In this case, the track's mix and synth controls disappear from the mixer. The mixer for a MIDI track without an instrument. Presets and racks. Every Live device can store and retrieve particular sets of parameter values as presets. Page 306. As presets are stored independently from Live sets, new presets become part of your user library that any project can draw from. Live's instrument, drum, and effect racks, page 323, allow saving combinations of devices and their settings as a single preset. This feature allows for the creation of powerful multi-device creations and effectively adds all the capabilities of Live's MIDI and audio effects to the built-in instruments. Routing. As we have seen, all tracks deliver signals, either audio or MIDI. Where do these signals go? This is set up in the mixer's in-out section, which offers, for every track, choosers to select a signal source and destination. The in-out section, accessible through the View menu's in-out option, is Live's patch bay. Its routing options, page 247, enable valuable creative and technical methods such as resampling, submixing, layering of synths, complex effects setups, and more. Track routing is set up using the in-out section in the arrangement, left, or session view, right. Signals from the tracks can be sent to the outside world via the computer's audio and MIDI interfaces to other programs that are connected to other tracks or devices within Live. Tracks can also be combined into a group track, page 272, which serves as a submixer for the selected tracks. Likewise, a track can be set up to receive an input signal to be played through the track's devices. Again, tracks can receive their input from the outside or from another track or device in Live. The monitor controls regulate the conditions under which the input signal is heard through the track. It is also possible to route signals to external hardware devices from within a track's device chain by using the external audio effect, page 423, and external instrument, page 541, devices. Note, these devices are not available in the light or intro versions. Interesting. So I've been reading all this, and it's all going right over here. Whoop. I find these programs, you really only learn these programs by it's like life, like trying to make a song out of it. But Live honestly has eluded me to even get to the point where I can get going, and that's what made me just decide to read this to try to figure it out. So I'm dedicated to it. I'm gonna keep at it, and hopefully once I get the big picture, then I can kind of figure out where to start, because it's just, I've watched hundreds of YouTube videos and it just never sticks. I just never remember. And I see other people fly on this, and it's been a long day at work. It's sweltering hot in Missouri today. Even in the basement, it is hot down here. But I really want to get back on this, and so that's why I'm doing it. So let's keep going. 4.11, recording new clips. Audio tracks and MIDI tracks can record their input signal and thereby create new clips. Page 281. Recording is enabled on a track by pressing its arm button. With multiple tracks selected, pressing any of their arm buttons will arm all of them. You can also hold down the Control Windows/Command Mac modifier when clicking the arm buttons to arm several tracks at once. If the exclusive arm option is enabled in the record preferences, inserting an instrument into a new or empty MIDI track will automatically arm the track. When the control bar's arrangement to record button is on, every armed track records its input signal into the arrangement. Every take yields a new clip per track. When the control bar's arrangement record button is on. Every arm track records its input signal into the arrangement. Okay, here we go. Track arm buttons as they appear in the session view. Yeah, I know about those. It's also possible to record into session view slots on the fly. Page 284. This technique is very useful for the jamming musician, as session recording does not require stopping the music. Clicking the session record button records a new clip in the selected session scene in all armed tracks. Which button is that? Up here next to the square? This one? So let's like arm 2 tracks and see what that does when I press that. See. Clicking the session record button records a new clip in the selected session scene in all armed tracks. So I think these are scenes. Selected session scene. Okay. Can I add a new scene? So let's like arm. Let's try to do so. Command arm. So let's arm a couple tracks. Let's hit it and see if it will start recording. Oh yeah, there it goes right there. Right there. So it's doing something. That's how that works. There's nothing in there, but it did start recording them both, so I get what they mean. Not quite sure what you'd want to do that for, but maybe vocals and an instrument, maybe? I'm not quite sure, but I can see how it would be useful if you need to record 2 things at once in the session view. Clicking the session record button again defines the end of the recording and launches the new clips. As these actions are subject to real-time quantization, the resulting clips can be automatically cut to the beat. The control bar's quantization chooser. So that's kind of cool. So let's try just deleting these. And they're both armed, so we hit record. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That's probably blowing out, I would imagine. That's turned all the way up. I don't know. I guess I'll hear it when it plays back. Let's try it. I'm going to turn it on to see how loud it is. It's really loud, but I don't know how distorted it is. Sounds okay. Clicking the session record button again. Okay, we did that already. There's the quantization. So ours is at 1 bar. Session recording in conjunction with overdubbing and record quantization is the method of choice for creating drum patterns. Okay. Which are built up by successively adding notes to the pattern while it plays in a loop. It only takes a MIDI keyboard or the computer keyboard and a MIDI track with Live's impulse percussion instrument to do this. Page 543. So hopefully by the time we get to 543, this will all be coming together. That's my hope. Yeah. 412, automation envelopes. Often when working with Live's mixer and effects, you will want the control's movements to become part of the set. The movement of a control across the arrangement timeline or session clip is called automation. Page 345. A control whose value changes over time is automated. Automation is represented by breakpoint envelopes, which can be drawn, edited, and recorded in real time. The automated pan control and its envelope. Practically all mixer and effect controls in live can be automated, even the song's tempo. Recording automation is straightforward. All changes of a control that occur while the control bars, automation arm, and arrangement record buttons are on become automation in the arrangement view. Automation is recorded to session view clips if controls are adjusted while recording with the automation arm button enabled. Changing an automated control's value while not recording is similar to launching a session clip while the arrangement is playing. It deactivates the control's automation in favor of the new control setting. The control will stop tracking its automation and rest with the new value until the re-enable automation button is pressed or a session clip that contains automation is launched. Okay. Did it show us the automation button? Okay. I don't really see it. I don't see a picture of it. We'll keep going. Maybe it'll pop up. 4.13, 4.13, clip envelopes. Envelopes can be found in both tracks and clips. Clip envelopes, page 359, are used to automate or modulate device and mixer controls. Audio clips have, in addition, clip envelopes to influence the clip's pitch, volume, and more. These can be used to change the melody and rhythm of recorded audio. MIDI clips have additional clip envelopes to represent MIDI controller data. Clip envelopes can be unlinked from the clip to give them independent loop settings, so that larger movements like fade-outs or smaller gestures like an arpeggio can be superimposed onto the clip's material. So when I'm reading this book, I'm really just kind of like learning in front of you, or just as a way to make myself do this. So if I like pause, I'm thinking about what I just read and trying to make sense of it in my head. Envelopes. Okay. Oh, okay. An envelope for clip transposition. So it's panning across the clip. Some sweeps there. .14, MIDI and key remote. To liberate the musician from the mouse, most of Live's controls can be remote controlled via an external MIDI controller. Remote mappings are established in MIDI map mode, page 667, which is engaged by pressing the MIDI switch in the control bar. Right here. Yeah. So I brought this home. I keep this at school for sound effects and whatnot while I'm teaching. It makes it funnier. But I brought it home. I was going to use it, but I don't know. I might as well plug it in since I brought it home. Oh. And amazing. I have the wrong cord. If it's not one thing, it's something else. How many USB ports are there? What even is this one? It's like bigger than a cell phone. It looks like that. And I need the big printer one. Like that. Which I have that exact cord. They were literally right next to each other and I grabbed the wrong one. Awesome. Next time. I really don't think that's right. No, that is not correct. I wonder where that other chord is. Give me just a second. I'm going to look for it. All right, well, that's motivation to buy a toolbox. I'm going to try my best to put all this stuff in one toolbox because I have it in like 4 Walmart bags everywhere. Okay, let's go back to where we were. So we're talking about MIDI mapping by pressing the MIDI switch in the control bar. In this mode, you can click on any mixer or effect control and then assign it to a controller simply by sending the desired MIDI message. For example, by turning a knob on your MIDI control box. Your assignments take effect immediately after you leave MIDI map mode. Session clips can be mapped to a MIDI key or even a keyboard range for chromatic playing. MIDI keys and controllers that have been mapped to Live's controls are not available for recording via MIDI tracks. These messages are filtered out before the incoming MIDI is passed on to the MIDI tracks. The key MIDI map controls. Session clips, switches, buttons, and radio buttons can be mapped to computer keyboard keys as well. This happens in key map mode, page 671, which works just like MIDI map mode. Live offers, in addition to this general purpose mapping technique, dedicated support for Ableton Push and Push 2. And Push 3 now, I guess. There may be a new version of this. .15 Saving and exporting. Saving a live set saves everything it contains, including all clips, their positions and settings for devices and controls. An audio clip can, however, lose the reference to its corresponding sample if it is moved or deleted from disk. The links between samples and their clips can be preserved with a special command, collect and save, page 102, which makes a copy of each sample and stores it in a project folder along with the live set. That sounds incredibly helpful. A separate save button in the clip view saves a set of default clip settings along with the sample. Okay. So that each time the sample is dragged into the program, it will automatically appear with these settings. This is especially useful if you have made warp settings for a clip and want to use it in multiple live sets. Okay. Exporting audio from live can be done from both the session and arrangement views. By default, Live will export the audio coming through on the master output as an audio file of your specifications via Export Audio Video, page 80. Live can also export MIDI clips as MIDI files, page 88. Exporting and saving material for later use in Live can be done very conveniently with the Live clip format, page 88. Session view clips can be dragged back out of a live set to a browser and thereby exported to the disk as live clips. A live clip in the browser. Live clips are a very powerful way of storing ideas as they save not only the clip's clip view settings, but also the corresponding track's instruments and effects chain. Live clips in the browser can be previewed and added to any open live set, just like sample files. In the live set, they restore the clip's original. In the live set, they restore the original clip's creative options. Using live clips, you can build your own personalized library of MIDI sequences with matching instruments and effects. For example, a MIDI drum pattern with the associated impulse and effects settings. Different regions or loops, page 165, referencing the same source file. Variations of a sample loop created by applying warp markers, page 173, clip envelopes, page 359, and effects, page 301. Ideas that may not fit your current project, but could be useful in the future. That is pretty cool. I can definitely see how that could be useful once you had multiple projects and really knew what you were doing. So chapter 5. Here we go. So I will say, so much of this I know. I mean, I already knew how to map MIDI keys. I knew a lot of it. I'm excited to get to warping because that still confuses me. And just how to navigate. So when I'm like recording in the clip view, I've never been able to establish a real sense of flow with this program. Like certain clips will be 8 bars, certain clips will be 4 bars. I don't really know how to take them from the session view to the arrangement view easily. It's hard for me to build a song. So once again, we're just going to try to get the totality in, and then hopefully the flow will kick in at some point, or I'll have a much better idea of how to practice with this. Let's see. It's so interesting on Mac, so I can like maximize these windows. And then I can just swap. I like that a lot. Okay. I do like that there. It still shows my video, even though my calendar is over here, but it's not showing that. I like that because I'm not sharing my calendar. So learning OBS as well. All right. Chapter 5, managing files and sets. Various types of files are used in making music with live, from those containing MIDI, page 87, and audio, page 78, to more program-specific files such as live clips, page 88, and live sets, page 89. This chapter will explain everything you need to know about working with each of these file types in live. However, we should first take a look at Live's browser, through which most files arrive in the program. Working with the browser, 5.1. Live's browser is the place where you interact with your library of musical assets, the core library of sounds that are installed with the program. Any additional sounds you've installed via Ableton packs, presets, and samples you've saved, your Ableton and third-party devices, and any folder on your hard drive that contains samples, tracks, etc. The browser. The browser display is divided into left and right sections called the sidebar and the content pane, respectively. To resize the sections, drag the divider line horizontally. 5.1.1. Understanding the browser's hierarchy. Working in the browser involves choosing one of the labels from the collections, categories, or places section in the sidebar, and then selecting from the items that appear in the content pane. Collections. The collections labels each have their own assignable color, which you can use to tag items, including folders, that appear in the browser's content pane. These labels, or tags, enable you to quickly organize and access particular browser files. For example, your favorite or most used items. You can assign collection labels via a selected items, right-click, Windows, Control-click, Mac, context menu, or by using the keyboard shortcuts 1 through 7. Use 0 to reset color assignments. Let's see if we can figure that out. So 6, does that change? Am I in the right place? Probably not. Oh, it's in the browser. Let's pick mallets, basic analog chime. Oh, I do have colors popping up there. So these are the colors. Oh. Clear all colors, 0. Okay, so you're gonna add that to like 7. It should be purple. Is that right? Yeah. Gray. So 2 is orange, is that right? Like for drums. 2. Yeah. Okay, well that makes sense, I guess. And you can also do it like this, I think is what it's telling me. So like simpler bass. You can right click favorites like that. Okay. Beautiful. Note that collections labels can also be assigned to multiple browser items within a selection. Additionally, it is possible to assign a color label to different item types. For example, you can assign the same color label to a drum sound, a MIDI effect, and a plugin. Clicking on a collections label in the sidebar shows all items tagged with that color. Folders that appear in the collections labels can be unfolded to show their contents. Okay. The edit button in the browser. Each label can be renamed via their right click. Okay. Or control click Mac context menu, or by pressing Control R Windows, Command R Mac. You can choose which labels are visible in the browser by clicking the edit button next to the collections header and checking the show hide label option next to each label. Oh, yeah, just like that. Editing shown and hidden collections in the browser. To exit edit mode, press the done button. The done button in the browser. Note that when a hidden unassigned color becomes assigned to a browser item, the collections label for that color will be shown in the sidebar automatically. Okay. However, visible color labels are not automatically hidden if all their assignments are removed. Browser items and their assigned colors in the content pane. In the content pane, square icons indicate the respective colors assigned to each item. Note that although multiple colors can be assigned to an item, no more than 3 of those colors will be shown in the content pane. Categories. The categories labels show all types of a given type. All items of a given type, regardless of where they are in your library. Use this section to explore and discover all of the instruments and sounds you have installed. The categories section is organized as follows. Sounds. All of your instrument racks, page 323, and instrument presets organized by the type of sound they make, rather than by their devices. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. So they're like instrument sounds. Ambient and evolving. Okay. Drums, all your drum presets. This includes full drum kits, which are available as drum racks, as well as single drum hits, which are delivered as instrument racks. Instruments, all of your instrument racks, as well as raw live instruments and their presets, organized by device rather than by the type of sound. Audio effects, all of your audio effect racks, as well as raw live audio effects, devices, and presets. MIDI effects, all of your MIDI effect racks, as well as raw live MIDI effects, devices, and presets. Max for Live, all of your Max for Live, page 633 devices and presets, as well as any racks that are built with those devices, organized into audio effect, instrument, and MIDI effect folders. Plugins, your third-party VST and or audio units plugins, page 311. Clips, all of your live clips. Samples, all of your raw audio samples. Grooves, all of your grooves, page 229. Templates, all of your template live sets, page 93. All results. This section appears after you've typed something into the search field. It shows search results for every section of the browser in a single list. So let's go up here and type in piano. Nothing comes up. What if I just... all results for piano. There we go. Ableton. It's kind of okay. Not really. Gotta get a VST. Places. The places labels show the contents of folders on your hard drives. Use this section when you want to access a particular place, such as a folder you've added or an add-on pack. The actual contents of the places section will vary depending on how you've configured your library, but will contain at least the following. Packs, all packs that come pre-installed with Live, as well as any that you've installed yourself. Each pack appears as a folder in the content pane, which can be unfolded to reveal that pack's contents. Presets, samples, and live clips installed by packs will also appear in the appropriate categories labels. The packs label also shows updates for installed packs, as well as additional packs that you can install. Please refer to downloading and installing packs in the browser, page 70, for more information. User library. The user library is the default location for items you save yourself, including default presets, grooves, your personalized racks and device presets, your own samples, live clips, etc. Files that you save to your user library will also be available in the appropriate categories labels. Current project. All of the files that are contained in the currently active project, page 95. If you're working on a live set that you haven't yet saved, the current project refers to a temporary location. any folders from any of your hard drives that you've added to Live's browser. Moving through the files in Live's browser can be done with either the mouse or the computer keyboard. Scroll up and down in the browser with the up and down arrow keys, the mouse wheel, or by clicking and dragging while holding the Control-Alt-Windows, Command-Alt-Mac modifier. Close and open folders or move between the sidebar and content pane with the left and right arrow keys. By default, any previously open folders will close when you open a new one, but you can override this behavior by holding Control, Windows key, or Command Mac while opening new folders. I guess this is it. Places. Add folder. Packs. Okay. Downloading and installing packs in the browser. The packs label in the browser shows you all packs that come pre-installed with Live, as well as any that you've installed yourself. To check for existing updates for your installed packs, navigate to the packs label and expand the updates section. Available updates for installed packs appear in the browser. You can also view packs that you own but have not installed. These uninstalled packs appear in the Available Packs section within the packs label. Guess I don't really have any. Loops, maybe. Okay. Downloadable packs appear in the browser. You can download any of these updates or available packs by pressing the download icon next to it. Press the download icon to download a pack. While the pack is downloading, the download icon changes to a pause icon that indicates the progress of the pack's download. Press the pause icon to pause a pack download. The download progress is indicated in yellow. Should you need to, you can pause downloads and resume them at a later point. To pause the download, press the pause icon. When a download is paused, the paused icon changes back to a download icon. To resume a paused download, press the download icon again. Note, you can download multiple selected packs at the same time. You can also pause and resume downloading multiple selected packs. When the download is complete, you can install the pack by pressing the Install button. Press the Install button to install a pack. Upon pressing the Install button, Live will display a progress bar that indicates the status of the process. Note that you can download a pack, pause, resume, or cancel a download, or install a pack by choosing the appropriate command in that pack's right-click Windows, Control-click Mac context menu. Sometimes you might need to know the size of a pack before you download and install it. For example, you may have limited space on your hard drive. You can configure the browser to show the size of all packs that appear in the Updates and Available Packs sections. To do this, right-click Windows, Control-click Mac on the name header in the browser's content pane and choose the size option in the context menu. I don't think I need to worry about that. Show or hide the size of packs in the browser. You can delete an installed pack via its right-click Windows Control-click Mac context menu. Note that deleted packs will appear in your list of available packs. It is possible to configure Live's preferences to show or hide updates and available packs in the browser. To do this, press the Show Downloadable Packs toggle in the library preferences. Show or hide downloadable packs in the browser. 5.1.3 User Folders. Live's browser allows you to work with your creative tools regardless of where they are installed on your computer. This allows you to, for example, store large sample collections on one or more external drives and still use the browser to access their contents. There is no need to keep them in a single centralized location. In order to work with your own folders in Live, you must add them to the browser, either by dropping them directly into Live from the Explorer, Windows, Finder, Mac, or by pressing the Add Folder button in the browser's sidebar. Down here, Add Folder. After adding a user folder, Live will scan it, which teaches the browser about its contents. Following this, it will appear in the Places section of the sidebar. Places. Note, adding a user folder does not actually move the folder to a new location, but simply makes it available in Live's browser. If you reorganize your drives using Explorer for Windows or Finder for Mac, Live may not be able to find user folders if they've been moved. For example, if a user folder is contained on an external hard drive and Live is opened without the drive attached, the user folder will still appear in the browser, but will be grayed out. You can attempt to find it by using the right-click Windows Control-click Mac context menu's Locate Folder command, or tell Live to forget this folder via the Remove from Sidebar command. You can also use this command to remove folders that aren't missing, but which you simply don't want to work with anymore. 5.1.4 Live's browser is equipped with a search field that filters the contents of the selected sidebar label as you type. To search across all locations, press Ctrl F Windows or Command F Mac. Let's try that. Command F. Command F. I think it just clicks all results, more or less. The browser's search field. The results will include files that match all search terms as opposed to any. For example, if you search for acoustic bass, the search will yield all acoustic bass sounds, not all acoustic sounds, and all bass sounds. For mouse-free searching, we suggest the following sequence of shortcuts. Command F Mac to place a search cursor in the search field. Type your search terms. Down arrow key to jump to the search results. Up and down arrow keys to scroll the search results. Escape to clear the search field, showing all the contents of the selected sidebar label. So let's say we're over here working. Command F. I need an acoustic bass. Nothing. Did I spell it wrong? Maybe there's just not one in there. Piano. Okay. Previewing files. They just typed in bass. Yeah, it comes up with stuff. Okay, previewing files. Live allows you to preview samples, clips, and instrument presets in the browser before they are imported into the program. To enable previewing, activate the preview switch next to the preview tab at the bottom of the browser. Right there. That's the preview switch. Interesting. You can turn it off. Huh. Look at that. I didn't know about that. Raw. I guess it'll tell me what raw means. You can preview files even when the preview switch is not activated by pressing Shift Enter or the right arrow key. So that's off. Right arrow key. Yep. Shift Enter. Sure enough. Okay. Click on a file or use the up and down arrow keys to select it. Click in the tab's scrub area to make playback jump to that point. Note that it is not possible to scrub clips that have been saved with warp turned off. Sure, but that's what I think. There's no pictures. You can select live clips in the browser to load them into the preview tab. Okay. You can also preview Live's instrument presets in the Preview tab. When selected, you'll hear a short audio sample of the preset, so you can get an idea of how it sounds before loading it. With the RAW button enabled, files will preview at their original tempo and will not loop. Oh, that's interesting. With RAW disabled, Live will try to preview files in sync with the current set, so that you can better judge which samples will work for you. Please note that scrubbing is not possible when RAW is enabled. Huh. So RAW. So it won't loop, it said. And you can't scrub. You turn it off, and then it will loop. And you can scrub. That. I did not know that. That's cool. I wish there was a way to just make it stop. I guess you could hit RAW, but with RAW disabled, okay. It's cool. It really is cool how Live tries hard to make everything work together. I think that is why I've intuited that people love this program so much once they get the hang of it, because you can just make music and make it work without really thinking about it, really messing with it. And I met Girl Talk in LA once. I brought 100 squirt cans to a concert, and I asked him how he just cut up samples so perfectly in Adobe Audition and use them in Audio Mulch, which is like the $70 piece of software. He'll like add seconds of material and just make it work. And he goes, man, just do Ableton. Or you don't have to be mathematical like that. Like, he's a biochemical engineer. He's like, you think Dr. Dre does that? Do you like his music? Just go make music. Reminds me of that Mark Twain quote, that the truly great make you feel that you too can become great, and he's one of the best. He always acted like somebody else would do mashups better than him. Nobody ever did. Greg, come back and give us another great mashup album. You were the true goat of sampling. The previewing volume can be adjusted using the mixer's preview knob. That's the preview volume knob. That's interesting. know about that. Oh. Sure enough, look at that. I did not know about that. Okay. If your audio hardware offers multiple audio outs, you can privately audition or cue files via headphones connected to a separate pair of outs while the music continues to play. To learn how to set up live for queuing, please refer to the relevant section of the mixing chapter, page 278. So that's for DJing, I would imagine. Let's get to 5.2 and we'll quit. Adding clips from the browser. There are several ways to add clips to a live set. Files can be dragged and dropped from the browser into tracks in the session or arrangement view. Dragging and dropping material from the browser into the space to the right of the session view tracks or below arrangement view tracks will create a new track and place the new clips there. So, over here, you can drag. Although they only allow 8 in the live version, so you can delete one. You can see like that. Creates a new one. Okay. Dropping a clip to create a new track. In the session view, double-clicking or pressing enter on a file in the browser will automatically create a new track to the right of the other tracks and load it with the clip. Files can be dropped directly into Live from the Explorer in Windows or Finder in Mac. Let's try that. So we'll delete this. Just double-click on it. And there you go. Puts it right there at the top. Hot swap mode. In addition to the drag and drop method of loading files from the browser, Live offers a hot swap mode to reduce your mouse travel. Hot swap mode can be toggled on and off with the Q key and establishes a temporary link between the browser and, for example, a virtual instrument. While in hot swap mode, you can step through samples or presets to audition them in place, that is, within the instrument. Hot swapping for presets is covered in the Live Device Presets section, page 306. Let's go through an example of hot swapping samples. Live's built-in Impulse instrument features 8 sample player slots that can be filled by dropping samples into them. Alternatively, we can click the hot swap button that appears as we move the mouse over a slot. The hot swap button in an impulse slot. That's the hot swap button, I guess. Clicking the hot swap button or pressing the Q key engages hot swap mode. Alright, so let's try to put an impulse instrument in to see what they're talking about. Instruments. I thought it was... Instrument rack. I thought there was one called Impulse. I'm not seeing it. Is it not in the demo? Let's just try like a new live set. Don't save. Okay. Oh, they're the same. Oh, it's because I have this in. Maybe I'll open back up the demo. It's because I had bass typed in up here. Impulse, there we go. So let's delete string sample. And can you double click Impulse? Anyway, that's it right there. Hot swap mode. The browser in hot swap mode. Q. So that's it right there, I guess. Yeah, this little button. On hot swap mode, pressing the up or down arrow key moves to the next file in the content pane, and pressing enter or double-clicking the file loads it into the impulse slot, presumably while impulse is playing incoming MIDI notes. So let's see, Is this impulse? This one? I think so. I don't want to save it. I want to put impulse in so I can understand what this thing is talking about. I guess I put samples in here. I think. Where do I get them from, Ableton? So maybe that. Okay. So if I hit like, I don't think there's anything in it. How do you make it play these notes? Manage sample file? I mean, do I do it like this? Are these the sample files? So let's see if that'll do it. So let's go back here. And that should be, oh, let's make it the kick. So it's not so annoying. Let's drag this down here. So. Okay. So then I think I click that, and then hot swap mode maybe. Can I pick that and then hot swap mode? Where are these kicks? See if that's really what that's doing. Like if I double click that, let's like drag this over here. So now that's dub delay. Let's see if that really sounds like. Sounded like it did before. Do you? Okay, so double click this. Hot swap, and then we did dub delay. Like subbing out the exact hits of what pressing enter loads it into the impulse slot. Okay, let's try that. So hot swap mode, and then we'll go down to dub. So that does sound like what we had before. Okay, I think I kind of get it. The link between the browser and the instrument will be broken if a different view is selected, or if the Q key or the hot swap button is pressed again. Hot swapping can also be canceled with the press of the escape key or by pressing the close button in the hot swap bar at the top of the browser. When hot swap mode is re-entered, the browser will show the location of the currently loaded sound and pre-select it. Okay. Still a little iffy on that one, but we've went over by 10 minutes on our hour. So next time, we'll get hot swap eventually. We'll keep playing with it. Next time we're going to start at 5.2 sample files. That's where we're at right here. 5.2 sample files. Future Tyler. You will start right there. All right. So, if you appreciate this or you are going through it with me, hey, thank you. I'm going to try to say your name. This is like teaching in class. Latham. Is it Winton? Winton? I hope I said it right, buddy. I hope it was one of the two. But I appreciate it, man. We're going to keep at it. This is a slow grind. So I've done 4 hours in here of reading through the manual and just like trying to learn the program as I read. And I'm on page 78. Almost 79. We're at 5.2 sample files. So it's slow but sure. But we're getting there. And if anybody's following along or wants to support the channel, down in the description there's all the usual that every single person on YouTube asks you to check out. So you can look there. Patreon, buy me a coffee, all that stuff. Feels gross to say it. Feels gross not to say it. Welcome to capitalism. I love y'all. I'm going to sleep, and I'll see ya here soon. I'm gonna try to get back in the what's the word? I'm so tired. Routine, swing of things. 2-hour political stream is set for Fridays. And we'll keep going. All right. Thank you all for hanging out. We'll see you next time. God bless.